Hey sis, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt alone? Maybe anxious, or maybe like you just wish you could find a good group of women who loved the Lord. Do you want a safe place to talk about all of the real life challenges, life as a working mom, stay-at-home mom, entrepreneur, or simply just raising your kids in today's world? Do you want to grow deeper in your marriage, to find out your true identity and whose you truly are, to know your calling, your purpose, and overall grow intentionally with Jesus? Then this podcast is for you. Welcome to Gather the Gals, a podcast and ministry created for you, the everyday woman and mom, for all of my gals who want to know their voice matters, their story matters, who want to have a place to feel loved, supported, and encouraged, to find joy in Jesus and not this world, to leave the lies of the enemy behind. Then welcome. Our motto around here is we keep it raw and real, girl, knowing that we have been redeemed. We aren't perfect, but we have a Savior who is. And you, my sweet, sweet friend, are welcome to come as you are. Now let's chat on all the things. Let's go. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Gather the Gals. I'm your host, Lincoln, and today we have an amazing guest with us that I have been so excited to talk to for so long. She is going to share amazing information that I know y'all are going to love, y'all. We have Kate with us today from one of my absolute favorite companies ever, Earthley. Y'all, I'm so excited to just share everything with y'all that Kate has. She is so knowledgeable on all the things, and I just can't wait to dive in and just get some good information answered, because I feel like we have a lot of the same issues with our kids. Whenever I was reading stuff just on your website in general, I was like, I am pumped about this conversation. So take it away, share your heart or any information that you would tell us how Earthley became and what kind of got you into it, what gave you all the, just the need for it, right?
Sure. So I always was sort of interested in herbs, but I didn't really know anything about it. I didn't grow up with it. And my husband had all of these health issues. And when we got married, we kind of joked about it. Oh, haha, our kids have no chance to be healthy. They're just going to be like us. And then my daughter was born, and that's actually not funny. I don't want my daughter to live like that. I want better for her. And when she was a year old, I realized that she had a bunch of food allergies, and she had chronic diaper rash and eczema and just all these other symptoms. And I took her to all these different doctors, and they were like, yeah, it's normal. They'll grow out of it. Who cares? They really weren't concerned. And, she gets to be 2. She's not talking. She's struggling, clearly. And they had no answers for me. And the turning point for me especially came when I had them look at her diaper rash, because it literally it would start as the little bit of red, but within hours it would be like bleeding sores no matter what I did. And so I was like, this can't keep happening. And what's going on here? So I took her, and they were like, oh, it's bacterial. Here's an antibiotic cream. So I used it once, and it did not touch the rash, and it flared her eczema. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. So I threw the cream in the drawer. I never used it again. And I decided I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try some herbs or something. So I made this cream, and I'm like, this is really weird. I'm used to these white barrier creams or something different, and it's not that. So I don't know, but figured it can't be worse. So I tried it, and in one diaper change, it pretty much cleared the rash. I said, okay, all right, this is the direction I want to go. There's clearly something here. And I started my blog then. That was 2009. That was a long time ago now. And I just wanted to tell everybody what I was learning and what I was doing. And I was sharing recipes and herbal remedies and all these different things. And I started to grow this audience. And then over time, people started to say to me hey, I love what you're sharing, but I'm not a DIY person. I'm never going to make these things. Can I buy them from you? And I really wanted the answer to be yes, but, I kept having more babies, and my husband was working full time somewhere else at that time. And so in 2015, we kind of made this plan hey, what if you quit your job? And what if we
Yeah.
started our own thing? And it took us a while to figure out what that was. But in the fall of 2016, we launched our first products, which the elderberry syrup kits, quickly followed by Goodnight Lotion. And it just really started taking off. And we're like, okay, this is clearly the direction that we want to go. And
Wow.
it's just grown and grown and grown since then.
Hey guys, if you are liking this episode right now, would you do me a huge favor? Would you go and subscribe to our channel, leave us a quick 5-star review, and if you want to leave a sweet note, we love that too. And please just share this with another mom who needs a little bit of encouragement. We are so thankful for all of your love and support here at Gather the Gals. If you're looking for the perfect med spa, Radiant Aesthetics is it. Deanna is a registered nurse with over 20 years of ICU experience. She founded Radiant Aesthetics after much prayer and a big leap of faith. Deanna's mission is to help you feel confident, age naturally, and provide a safe, loving space where you are truly heard and cared for. At Radiant Aesthetics, it's not just about aesthetics. It's about connecting with people on a deeper level, inspired by her favorite Bible verse, Psalms 34:5. Those who look to him are radiant. Their faces are never covered in shame. Deanna created a space where you can shine from the inside out. Come visit Radiant Aesthetics and experience the transformation, because when you look to him, you are radiant. Oh my gosh, y'all. I love this stuff, first of all, because I know the audience knows I'm a pediatric nurse. I've been in it for 10 years. And when I started having my own kids, my first one, and I laugh, this is a total God thing. My first one was amazing sleeper, and I was, this is a piece of cake, right? Parenting's great. Let's have another one, my husband too. And then here comes that second one, and he's colicky, eczema, food allergies, all the things. And I'm like, all right, that was a joke. That parenting is not easy. So let me just preference that, right? But wow, I hear you when you were talking about bleeding eczema. And again, as a nurse, it's like they tell you all these things which you're supposed to do that don't ever work, that often lead to other symptoms and things, and you got to get more and more, right? And y'all, I tried all the things for my son's eczema, my middle kid. And at that time, let's see, when was that? He was born in 2020. So it was during COVID, right? So he was so colicky. Nobody wanted to come over because everybody was so scared of COVID, right? And so I was going through this terrible postpartum season. That's kind of when even Gather the Gals kind of started, is that idea came in because I'm like, just that lonely feeling, and moms didn't know where to turn or all the things. But I remember that, just putting stuff on his eczema, and it would be so bad. And as a mom, you just feel so defeated. You just feel so guilty, and I'm trying everything and nothing is working. And people just say, try this, try that. And I'm like, none of it is working. And so fast forward, whenever I started, because is it the all purpose now? Is that what it is? Like
Basically
that,
that,
kind of?
yeah.
Okay. So y'all, I swear by this stuff. Like, y'all know, for people, because people would ask me too, they're like, what do you use on? Because I've since had another one. So my daughter is my third. And people ask me all the time, they're like, what do you use? Because they know I don't really use, medicine like you would in a hospital system. Like, I use more, clean, holistic, non-toxic products and things like that. And so people ask me all the time, and I literally am open my pantry, pick your choice. And it is all Earthley stuff. Y'all know this if y'all are, local and all the things, but I swear by that stuff, y'all. If you don't have that in your pantry, I literally just used it on my son. Not even an hour ago. He cut his finger in the store. Here you go. You're good. Go on. You're fine. It helps with everything. It is so good. But you also just said the Goodnight Lotion.
Mm-hmm.
Again, my daughter, she was sleeping pretty good when she was like little, but for whatever reason, I probably do know the reasons, but she doesn't sleep the best anymore. And that stuff has helped her tremendously. It's so good, and it's natural. That it makes you feel good as a mom,
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
It's been super fun to watch, like, my kids, especially my younger ones, kind of grow up with it, because they've never known any different. And so they know that, if they have a headache, they're going to go get pain potion, and that's just all they've ever used.
Yes. Yeah, I know. And it's good that y'all just have something for everyone, for everything. Even like the calm and clarity, like we use that for my oldest. He's got, I mean, he's not one that has, a lot of friends are like, oh, ADHD, what should I use? Things like that. He just has a lot of energy. Like he's 6, right? But we give him that and I can tell a difference. And it's not anything that I'm scared to do. Like I see it every single day as a nurse that moms are coming in and they're scared to death because the doctor's like, oh, your kid's 3, 4, 5. Yeah, let's put on my ADHD medicine. And I'm like, it is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And it's not right. We need, I've seen it. Like we need better doctors and healthcare people in general who are going to sit and listen and understand that family dynamic, that kid, that, everything that's going on, and find the root cause. Like I'm so big on finding the root cause, healing the gut, and all sorts of things. And so I'm really, really thankful just as a mom of 3 kids that I use y'all stuff so faithfully, and it helps, like, the feel better fast. I mean, I could go on and on about the stuff that we use, and I swear by it. It's like, and knock on wood, there is so many kids out with flu right now. I don't know if it's that way in Ohio, but Texas has been hit. And I mean, we have teachers, we have kids out, like their schools are shutting down because they don't have kids there. Yeah. And so far my kids have been so good. And that, like, I give them natural stuff. I do elderberry. I do, just different products. If they have a fever, if I see some come on, I do the feel better fast. I do different things like that I'm like, this is your God-given immunity, and it's natural and it's okay, and it's not going to hurt you. Like, but if I give you this and you don't need it, it ain't going to hurt you. It's just going to help you regardless,
Yeah. There's been a lot of people here who've been sick too, but my kids have been like, we did get the stomach bug 2 weeks ago, which I hate so much, but it was like, a day and then they're fine. And they've gotten a couple of little colds, but not much beyond that, luckily. Like hopefully that's, I'm not saying anything crazy, but they usually don't get sick like that. They don't get that sick, like they will get little colds going around, but it doesn't take them down. I was telling my little 2 to take elderberry last night because I noticed they were coughing a little bit, and they're like, why? Because they're running around and they're feeling fine. I'm like, well, let's just nip this in the bud. So go ahead and take your elderberry.
Yes, absolutely. I do that too. I'm like, usually like when school rolls around, like August or so, I'm like, all right, I'm making elderberry, I'm just restocking stuff, just to kind of build up that immunity that it's so needed, So tell me a little bit about the vaccine detox. I have a lot of moms who are trying to figure out, do we get vaccines? Do we not? If we have, is there things we can do like that? It's been such a shift, lately. I feel like really kind of since COVID, a lot of moms are being more open-minded and more like, what do we do? And they're asking questions. And again, I don't know about Ohio, but a lot of the times in Texas, you kind of get a lot of pushback from that. And so there is definitely some now doctors who are more parent choice of like, hey, you want to raise your babies this way? That's fine. I am totally that way. I am all about like what is best for your child. And I've done episodes about, that in general, about vaccines. And I've done one, I don't know if I've released it yet, but on the whole like MTHFR gene mutation stuff. So I'm a huge like advocate for that and things about not getting vaccines and things for that for sure. But I feel like there needs to be more just open-minded about like, hey, like if this is how you're raising your babies, like here's some good info and things. And a lot of them are wondering like, okay, well, what do we do? Like if I've already done that, can I help them? And I have that in my pantry as well. So tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. I guess I want to say first, because my kids are a little bit older now. My oldest is 17, and I didn't vaccinate any of them. And I know a lot of parents, like, especially when they're really, really little and you're making that choice for the first time, and you doubt yourself in everything. And you've got all these people in your ears who, think that they know better than you do for your babies. And they're like, oh, your kid's definitely going to get sick. They're going to die. They're like all of these fear mongering tactics that they use on you.
Absolutely.
And like I said, my oldest is 17. I have 15 and 13 as well. almost 12, 9, and my youngest is actually 7. So
Okay.
they're not super little anymore. And my oldest ones know about, the choices that we've made and why we've made them. And they're healthy. They're happy. They
Yeah.
agree with what we're doing. So don't
Yeah.
let people doubt you, or make you doubt yourself, rather. Like, don't let people make you feel that way.
Yeah.
I made my decision because when my daughter was a baby, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And so I spent hours
Mm-hmm.
and hours and hours writing down every single question I had and looking at PubMed to find studies and looking at the CDC's Pink Book to see what's the information that they're telling to doctors rather than to parents.
Yeah.
And I kept reading until I was satisfied with the answers to my questions. And then I decided
Mm-hmm.
not to. And regardless of what you decide to do, I would encourage doing the same thing. Like, write down all your questions and keep
Yeah.
seeking answers until you're comfortable with what you're doing. And if you decide not to, you're not alone. There's plenty of parents that have come before you, and they are raising happy, healthy children who are adults or almost adults now. So
Yeah.
that said, I had to say that because I know what it was like, 15, 16 years ago, to be there with those little ones, to be making those decisions for the first time, and to have people
Yeah.
coming at me and telling me I was an idiot and I didn't know what was going on and
Yeah.
all this stuff. And I
Yeah.
don't
Well,
regret
and
any of the
even,
stuff.
yeah, and even like you just said, 15 or 16 years ago, you were doing this. And I
Mhm.
can't even imagine that. I've been a nurse for 10 years. And even back then, I just remember how pushy it was. It was
Mhm.
like, you were like, you're crazy if you're not doing that. Like that was the thing. And so good for you for being so strong and actually caring enough to research it and not just going along, because now I feel like more people are hesitant and okay with kind of sticking their ground and standing up for it. But man, back then that took some guts. So, I mean, props to you.
Yeah, I mean, it was a world before Facebook groups. It was a world before, we
Yeah.
had the social media to share these things. We were all on Yahoo at the
Right.
time, and
Yep.
I,
Yeah.
I was listening to these parents whose kids had been injured in, the
Yeah.
90s and early 2000s, and you know, I listened to their stories and I said, I'm going
Mm.
to keep doing more research. I'm not going to,
Yep.
I'm not going to make my decision just on their stories, but I'm not going to just listen to the doctors
Right.
either. I'm going to see,
Yeah.
what's all the info out there. So anyway, do your
Mm.
research. Don't let people tell you that you're crazy for questioning, injecting your children with all these things, because I think any
Yeah.
thoughtful parent should have questions, regardless of what you
Yep.
choose. As far as the vaccine detox, yeah, some parents have already made that choice. Some of them would not make it again. Some of them are dealing with injury. I know that they like to say injury is 1 in a million. That's not true. That's
Yeah.
how many people are actually compensated through the kangaroo courts that we have. That's where that data comes from, but that's not real. A lot of
Yeah.
my friends, my real life friends, have kids who have been injured, and so I felt like I needed to create something to help support these families that were facing these issues. And that product is meant to sort of help heal the guts, help
Yeah.
deal with some of the heavy metals, just support the immune system, liver health, things like that, so that your body can heal itself. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not something I would do like totally by itself. Like, there's going to be diet changes, there's going to be liver support, maybe castor packs. There's like a lot of different things that you would want to pair with that. But we have definitely seen some people who've had excellent results because of it.
Yeah. So now the gut health oil, can you take both of those together? And this is just for me. I'm curious. Like, I have them both. So I'm telling y'all,
Yeah.
I literally, like, I think I have probably everything. So, I do, like, I've taken them both. So I don't know if I just listen, I really do. I'm like, kids, line up. And I'm like dropping all of this. So yeah, I'm like, can you do both of those, or would you just do separate? Or is it, I know like you said, they're both good for your gut, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, what we say usually is make sure that your detox pathways are open first, because a lot of these
Yeah.
kids are struggling with constipation, and
Yeah.
you'll see like the eczema and the rash is popping up because it's not going like where it needs to go to get eliminated. And
Oh,
so
can you
you want,
explain that? Like the detox pathways? Because I know a lot of people have asked me that question. Do you
Mhm.
do you know how to like explain that just a little bit for the audience?
So
Like
people
what that means?
detox through urine, through bowels, a little bit through
Mm.
sweat. So in the lymphatic system. So like if these things are clogged, then
Yeah.
your body's not going to be able to eliminate anything that you might like release through a detox. And then
Yeah.
that can
Interesting.
cause more symptoms. And so you want to be careful and start really slow with anything you're doing. So,
Okay.
make sure that, they're having a bowel movement at least every day, hopefully more than
Yeah.
that, so that it's getting out.
Mhm.
That they're able to pee regularly, because there's like that.
Okay.
Sometimes the kidneys are weird depending on like how,
Yeah.
what's going on with their health and stuff. So like that, that they're able to sweat. Like we've seen kids that aren't sweating very much, or I guess adults
Yeah.
more than kids usually. But like all of these things need to be happening before you start trying to get rid of things. Otherwise it doesn't have anywhere to go.
That's very interesting. So, I have this, and this is y'all, this is just what we do on the show. I have this, I wouldn't even really call it a rash. I would really call it eczema, but it's like, it was started on like my ring finger and it popped up out of nowhere. And so I was like, is it from my ring? This is why I'm wearing this ring right now. So I'm like, go get my ring clean. Like I do that. Right. Well, it would not go away. And again, I tried all sorts of stuff. I put the salve on there, that and there was one, the little eczema lotion you have. Is it all over? Or there's something else that
Soothing
y'all
skin
use.
balm.
That stuff.
Soothing.
Yes, I have that. That helps a lot. But then it like jumped to my other hand. So I'm like, okay, this is a gut, like something. It's not just, so I started trying to get all my gut, but maybe I was doing that too fast, because I did use the gut oil, and I was like, since you said, it could be popping up. So that's when I was like, maybe I need to, like you said, get the pathways open better.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
We do have the lymphatic cream, and then you can also just do things like rebounding and like dry brushing and stuff like that at home to help that. And then sometimes that eczema, like I used to have something like that on my hands back, 10, 12 years ago, I think it's been now. It would come every winter, and first it was just on one finger, but then it was spreading to other fingers, and it was really itchy, and it was the dyshydrotic eczema is what it was. And yeah. And I started supplementing with magnesium, like a lot of it, when I was pregnant with my fourth. So that was, he's almost 12 now. And it went away, and it has not come back since then. And that wasn't why I was doing it. I was doing it so I could sleep when I was pregnant, but it helped me.
Okay. It's so funny you say that, because I take a magnesium, like pretty faithfully every day. And here recently I've been making this like ginger, turmeric, lemon, and mixing the magnesium in that and drinking it every day. And it's like the best it's been. So that's really interesting that you say that. I've been like very faithfully, doing this with that every day. So it's really interesting. Isn't it funny how we just react to everything, or like our gut and just different stuff, how it'll come out? Because, everybody's like, go to the dermatologist, put some steroid creams. And I'm like, no, like I have tried that. Yes. I'm like, no, there is a problem, and it will come back with that. And just as a nurse, it's like people know that, it's like, it's a Band-Aid, but I'm like, no, there's obviously like a problem. And it was like so itchy. And I was like, what is going on? And it's like, you can't just put lotion, or you can't just put like a steroid cream, because it would come back. It was so strange. So that is very interesting. I just love conversations where you have a problem, and it's like, as a nurse in the healthcare field, we just kind of said, it's like doctors want to put a Band-Aid over stuff. And even for kids, I'll say with ADHD and different things like that, sleep issues, there's just so many things that pop up, and every day, you go to the doctor and they're like, here's a drug for that, or here's that for that, and just put a Band-Aid over it. But as a mom, you want to help your babies, so more than you do yourself, because we're so bad. We're like, we're not going to go to the doctor. We're fine. Right. But when it's your baby, everybody wants to help their baby. And that's when it happened for me, whenever my middle was, his eczema was so bad, and I couldn't figure it out, and he did have food allergies, and he had all this different stuff. And for him, it was like I was talking about the MTHFR gene mutation. Like, and I had no idea, it was really just like a God thing that I really started to dive into. And a few of my friends at the hospital, doctors and different things, we started researching it and diving into it as to like, why do these babies not detox the same way as a normal person would? and what is, the everyday toxins, like vaccines, just the toxins in that, or products where you're using, or different things. And once I flipped all of that for him and took out the toxins that I could, and like changed products and changed medicine and different stuff, like he doesn't have it anymore. And I mean, he had it forever. It was so bad. He would scratch and he would bleed his head, his behind his knees, like his arms, his cheeks. Like it was awful. And he had the most beautiful hair. Like I laugh when I say this because it's so true. But on my 30, was it like 34? I think it was like around 34 weeks. I was pregnant with him. And we went in to do one of the final sonograms, and he had a straight mullet. Like it was just flapping in there. And it was just so pretty. And then they also told me his head was measuring at like 42 weeks at that point. And I was like, that is not okay. But he had the most beautiful hair. And when he would scratch it and it would like fall out, something's wrong, right? And as a mom, and it's like, you just want to feel supported in your decisions, what you want to do for your baby, and to not feel judged about it, to not feel overwhelmed, because we all know that going through postpartum, you have overwhelming mom guilt of, am I doing okay? Am I doing the right thing? What are people going to think of me? And you start feeling all these things, and it's such a spiral of negative thoughts that, you just get into this awful postpartum depression or anxiety, and you're like, I just want to be a mom and be the best for my baby. And it's really, really hard when you bring that to your doctor and you question anything, and they turn you down, and they'll call you crazy, or they're shun you. And I've had that. Like I've had a doctor tell me that, and I'm like, no, I'm not a nurse right now. I'm a mom. And obviously the stuff that y'all have told me to do for his eczema is not working, And I said, it's heartbreaking. Like he stays up screaming all night. Like he's scratching his skin, like he's bleeding. I'm like, I need another way. And same as you, like once I started figuring out, doing my own research of like, what is wrong with my baby? What can I do to help him? And I did. I figured it out, and I helped him through cleaner products, non-toxic products, things like that. And, so I'm just really, really thankful as a mom and a nurse too, but raising babies. My youngest is 1 and my oldest 6, my middle's 4. We use your products every day, and I just can't thank you enough for, you going through it and then figuring it out and just sharing it with all the other mamas out there who have such a need. And, it's just so good. I'm just really, 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 really thankful.
That was my goal, is that I know how hard that is. I know how hard it is to be a young mom and to watch your baby going through these things and the doctors having no answers for you. And, then like what I ran into a lot when my kids were really little was that I'd go to the health food store and I'd look at the labels, and a lot of the stuff wasn't as clean as it seemed like it should be once you like flip that around. And if I could find something that was really super clean, I remember just one particular product. It was this shampoo, and it was like this little 8-ounce bottle, and it was like $20. And I'm like, I can't afford that. Like, that's crazy. And so I wanted to make things that were as clean as what I would make in my kitchen, what I at one point in time did make in my kitchen for my kids, but that didn't cost an insane amount of money. So that's how Earthley came to be. Like, I don't want young moms to have to struggle the same way that I did.
Well, y'all heard it from her, and I am here to vouch. Her products are amazing. And she just said they are, you can't beat the price. I'm just going to tell you that there. Earlier today, I have this little guide that I put together to help moms. And let me just tell you, for all my audience out there, it has a lot of her products in it that I swear by, that I've already used. But what it is it's a guide that is to a mom, like you just said, like, hey, like I don't know what products are good. And as a nurse with my background, but also raising 3 kids, like these are the products that I use for my family, and I'll vouch for them, And, so yeah, like we have so many of your products in that guide, but then too, like you said, like y'all's price, you can't beat it. And that is something that as a mom, like, that matters too, as hard as it is, like, to say, right? Like, it's because we all know that, like, eating healthy and all that, it costs so much money, But just for example, like the other day I was looking up a detox bath, one of my friends, and you have some that are $60, $30, and then you go to y'all's and it's like $10. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
that anybody can do that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so again, like y'all need to go and check out her website and all the things. Y'all are always running sales or having coupons. I mean, it's just y'all's social media, everything about y'all is so good, so uplifting, so positive. And every mom, no matter your views, right, is like, there is something for everybody. And not just kids. Like I use the products too. I swear by y'all's infant tummy relief. I love that stuff. I take it more than my kids. Like, I love that stuff. Anytime you feel bloated or anything, and y'all know we've all been there, right? Like, I swear by that. I take it and I'm like, I'm good. I'm going to be fine about 5 minutes.
I take it too. Like, I know that the name, like, you know, makes people go, wait, what? But like, it literally is for anyone. I told my dad the other day, like, he's in his 70s, and I'm like, yes, like, you can still use this. It's not just for the little ones.
No. Oh my gosh. I love that. Well, Kate, it's been so good to chat with you. Is there anything else that you want to throw out there or tell the audience or anything at all?
I guess the only thing I would say is, because, you know, we've talked a lot about like taking care of our babies, and obviously our babies come first, but like I've learned through unfortunate experience that like you matter too, and take the time to take care of yourself, because if you don't, like you're giving so much of yourself through pregnancy and breastfeeding and just taking care of these babies and sleepless nights and all these other things, and it will catch up with you in your 30s and 40s if you don't. And so it's not selfish to take care of yourself. Like, your babies need you to be the best version of yourself.
I love that so much, because you're so right. We do. Every day we wake up and we're pouring into all these other people around us. And it's hard for us to say, okay, I need time to, I need a minute to, I need to pour back into myself. But you're only going to be a better version. And we try to really harp on that on the podcast of, hey, you matter too, right? Everybody comes to mom. Everybody wants mom when they're sick, when they're healthy or whatever. You're the safe space. And so make sure that you're getting the goodies too. And like I said, y'all, she has so many amazing goodies for you out there. Just go grab you some goodies. We'll put some discount codes and things in the show notes, so you can go grab some stuff and just stock up on all the things, because you're going to need it. Cold and flu season, listen, it's like a year-round thing now. So, oh my goodness. Okay. Well, if you don't have anything else, it was so good to talk with you today.
Yeah. Thanks for having me today.
Absolutely.
Thanks for gathering with me today. I hope you leave feeling a little more loved, a little closer to Jesus, and overall know that you matter. Life can be hard, but when we gather together, it makes it a little more sweet. I would love for you to subscribe to the podcast and find me on social media. We'll chat soon, sis.